Good day, everyone. This is Public Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody, how's it going?
It's going fine over here, though I heard rumors that what comes down rain where I live is a little bit on the frozen side where you're at.
Yes, a little bit of that white frozen rain. The S word is falling, and people around where I live are just morons and can't remember how to drive in snow. And yeah, it was fun times getting home from work today. So yeah, people, people.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Then let's take our mind off of this and have a little look at Update 45, The Age of the Alchemist. I wonder what's in this package.
I don't know. With that kind of title, it's kind of hard to figure out. That's right. Update 45 is live. Pull up a chair, grab a drink. We're going to go over the patch notes.
Right?
We're going to skim over the patch notes.
Skim.
Because if we would read the patch notes verbatim, we'd be here for quite a long time. These are some freaking long patch notes for this thing. Major thing is the new class, the Alchemist. It's the age of the Alchemist, duh. Alchemists mix magical components to create powerful arcane effects and coat their weapons in vile toxins.
Yeah.
Alchemists are an arcane caster class that can be used to melee range our spell cast effectively. Casting spells of certain primer colors in sequence unlocks powerful reactions that will buff your alchemist and link to various benefits in the alchemist enhancement tree. The Alchemist is free to VIP and Season Pass holders and is available in the DDO store for everybody else for 1,495 DDO points.
I got the impression they like to throw things.
They do. From what I've seen, I have not actually played one yet, but I watched several videos now, and yeah, you were chucking stuff at enemies.
Chucking stuff at enemies. And I noticed that one of the feats that they have is expertise in throwing. So if you're not throwing potions, you're throwing
That's right.
darts
You're
at them.
throwing darts or other things. So yeah, you're basically throwing a lot of stuff, and it's like I said, it's really weird because you build up. You have these colors that when you throw something, you get a color, and then if you throw something else, you get another color, and then those two colors mix to create something else. So
Yeah.
it looks like you're really going to have to learn like what each does and what each
Well,
mixture does, and
yeah.
looks interesting. I'm going to check one out and create one.
Yeah, I get the impression that if you throw a yellow and a blue potion, then you get a green effect or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Of course, the names are more alchemically than that.
right. Yeah, but it's pretty much like you said. You're just mixing the colors together, and each different reaction is going to do a different thing. It's going to either be a buff or it's going to be a damage or whatever. So, I'm looking forward to checking one out actually. So that's one of the big things in Update 45, The Alchemist. So everybody, let us know how you like it so far, if you've created one, kind of builds you're doing. Let us know down in the response to this episode. Also, in the past, oh, did you want to say something else about The Alchemist right now?
Well, I was just going to say I could just imagine that my build would be whichever one is possibly the worst, right?
I don't know. I might give you a run for your money on that. We'll see. It's going to be a battle who can create the suckiest alchemist. So we'll see. We shall see. The anniversary event is back. I kind of forgot it was anniversary time again, but yes, so you can jump back in with DDO's anniversary event. It's running with new rewards available now through March 8th. So head to House Fjarlin and jump into all the anniversary festivities.
Is there a new anniversary dungeon?
It's well, from what I've seen, like I said, I actually haven't been in games since this
Ah,
dropped, but I did watch the weekly Wednesday live stream with a Cordovan, and he actually jumped into this because the worlds came back up. And there are a few tweaks to the dungeon this year.
Okay.
In some of the dev fights that you do for stars, a couple of them are a little different. But overall, it's still the same dungeon. Of course, you run them out to get party favors to get the stuff, and there is new rewards. Alas, I didn't have time to even check. I was going to log in, at least look to see what the new rewards were, but I didn't even do that. So farm those party rewards and get all of the cool anniversary rewards. Of course, in this update as well, Dalera's Tomb and the Catacombs have been updated to offer epic level versions of the classic adventures for DDO. Players who already own these adventure packs and all VIP and Season Pass holders automatically will have access to the new adventures. Catacombs is for levels 3 and 4 on Heroic, 23 on Epic. Dalera's Tomb is 5 and 8 on Heroic and 27 on Epic. I'm excited to check the Epic versions of these out. I cannot wait to see what they have done to epify Dalera's Tomb and the Catacombs, which these are two of my favorites of the lower level stuff, like older, we'll say classic content for DDO. These two, I think, are two of my favorites. I love the stories in both. Dalera's Tomb is just amazing because, Gary Gygax. Catacombs is fun. You can get some pretty decent loot out of there for low level, so I'm kind of interested to see about the epic loot.
Yeah, it's that first raise that can make it a problem sometimes.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So looking forward to checking these out. And hey, Gumsgang, you just jumped into the chat. Also, this update bringing the 64-bit game client to DDO. Big note with this is in beta. And I do believe this is the exact same thing they did on the Lord of the Rings side as well.
Yeah.
What you do is the DDO game client can now be optionally run in 64-bit, which can improve game performance. By default, players are going to continue to run in the 32-bit clients unless they change the option in the launcher. So what you're going to do is in your game launcher where you type in your username and your password, up at the top, there is that little arrow. If you click on that, that is going to bring a drop-down menu down, and then you're going to see there your option to run in the 64-bit client. You can switch back to the 32-bit client anytime you want by doing the exact same thing again. Like I said, this is beta, so keep that in mind. A lot of people are saying, what's the advantage of running in 64-bit? The biggest advantage is 32-bit had a 4 meg memory limit. Gig, I'm sorry. Not meg, sorry. Gig, yes. Had a 4 gig memory limit. With 64-bit, you can use as much memory as you have. So in theory, that should make the game run better. In practice, does it work? Yeah. And I know you have experience with it on the Lotro side.
The thing about on the Lotro side is I switch servers a lot in Lotro, and the server switching ability doesn't work all that well, at least not on the Lotro side, on the 64-bit client. So
have to see if that actually affects the DDO game worlds as well.
I don't change servers all that much. I usually play on one server on a session. But
okay.
On Lotro, I could log in, stay logged in all day, and switch servers several times, and that's a usual weekend day for me in Lotro. And having to exit completely and then restart the launcher and all that stuff is really a pain in there. DDO, I don't think it'll affect me all that much. I usually stay on the same server whenever I'm playing.
Okay. And then along with the 64-bit client, there is a known issue right now, and that's if you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, which would be me. So I'm glad there's a workaround for this now. It seems like some people are getting an issue where if you're using the 64-bit beta client and you're on the NVIDIA graphics card, when you go to log into the games worlds, everything just disappears and you can't log in. you can actually log in, and then when the game worlds come up to where you can pick your server, that just disappears. It only seems to be on NVIDIA cards right now. There is a workaround for it. There's a link in the show notes for this too. It's a little techie, but not too bad. You just go down to Windows search. You look for NVIDIA Control Panel and/or just open NVIDIA Control Panel. And then you go into Manage 3D Settings, Program Settings, click on the Add button for program, and then just add the D&D Client 64.exe. And then add that selected program, and then choose High Performance NVIDIA Processor for that program that you added. That should fix the problem for now. So I said there is a link in the show notes to tell you step-by-step how to do that. I said I haven't ran the game yet, haven't even patched it up yet. So I don't know if on my NVIDIA card I'll have this problem. I'll try it without actually doing that and see if I have the problem, and then I'll do the workaround. They are looking at maybe why this is happening, and I guess it's not happening for everybody. It's just some people with NVIDIA cards are having this problem. So
it might be specific cards or specific firmware versions or something like that.
Could be our driver versions, or it's just, I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint that. But then again, 64-bit is in beta. Just remember that there's going to be little things like that.
Yeah, mine says NVIDIA GeForce GTX 745. So I guess they are collecting data on the exact cards that people have who are having the trouble, and that could.
Right. Gumskang saying his install was okay. So, and then I read on the forums too that there's some people that are saying I have an NVIDIA card and it's whatever X card and it's running fine, and then other people. So it's hit or miss. But like I said, it's beta. Keep that in mind. And let's see. So there you go. I'm excited to check out the 64-bit client as well. I'm just excited to check out Update 45. Elsewhere go ahead.
I'm just excited on the Alchemist side is what I'm most excited about. Let's see.
Yeah, I would say me too. I think maybe Catacombs and Delara's Epic a little more than Alchemist, but I am pretty excited about Alchemist.
Epic more than I do.
Well, that's very true. I do.
What level is Catacombs?
In the Epic version?
Yeah.
It is 23.
23. Oh, that's right. I'm only 20 right now, so...
You'll be fine. We'll run it in Epic. He'll be fine.
I can't even run Borderlands on my level 20 character. How am I going to run Delara's Tomb?
Don't worry. You'll be fine. It'll be fine. It will be fine, Pineleaf. Don't worry about it. We'll have fun. You might die, but it'll be fun. And then if you want to really get down into the Alchemist, check out the patch notes. As I said, I'm not going to run through all of this because, oh my God, I'm scrolling. Still looking at the Alchemist. I'm still scrolling. Oh my God, I'm still scrolling. So so check that out if you want to get more into the Alchemist. Of course, we'll say combat enhancements. Sure, let's call them that. Are now live. We've talked about this when they were.
I think some people disagree on the word enhancement.
We talked about this when he was on Lamania. We had a special episode with Patrick where we talked about these. All this stuff is now live. They did tweak it a little bit, so there is some changes. We'll go over some of the highlights. Stealth movement speed. All sneak speed enhancements are now on the enhancement channel and therefore will not stack. They also fixed the anti-requisite flags on these abilities to more reliably prevent players from taking more than one.
In other words, people were taking super overpowered combinations.
People wouldn't do that, Pineleaf. No, come on. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I've heard people do that occasionally on the Lotro side.
Never. Come on. DDO players are better than that, Pine Leaf. Stealth mechanics also got a little bit of a change. Monster sight detection of stealth players has been decreased by 28%. It was 25 meters. Now it's 18 meters. If your stealth score exceeds the monster's spot skill, this does include bosses and monsters that can see normally through stealth with all seeing. Blah, blah, blah. Like as I said, listen to that special episode if you want. We kind of went through all this. The big thing is the big one, glancing blows. No longer a thing now. It is now called strike through. Glancing blows game-wide have been replaced with a new mechanic, strike through, when wielding a two-handed weapon, or while wielding a bastard sword or a dwarven axe in your main hand, and with a shield, orb, or rune arm, or nothing in your offhand. Your attacks can strike through. When your attacks strike through, every attack has a chance, ergo known as the strike-through chance, to hit an additional target. By default, players have a 20% strike-through chance, which can be improved through feats and enhancements. If your strike-through chances is over 100%, you're guaranteed to hit a second target if you're in range on your attack. With a chance to hit a third, by default, you can only strike through while standing still. This is all stuff we talked about in the combat update changes. So look at that. Let's skip down, see what else we got. Some items got some updates. The one against many 3-piece ability reset is now granting a +5 strike through bonus. Of course, that is replacing the glancing blows bonus that it did. You're going to find that on a lot of things. Anywhere where it gave you a bonus to glancing blows or it said something about glancing blows, it's now going to say strike through and give you the strike through bonus because glancing blows is no longer a thing. Characters now play the entire attack animation cycle regardless of your BAB for all weapon types. If characters will no longer only play the first couple of animations and then pop back to the first when at low levels. And that was, I think from what Patrick described, people were trying to, we'll say, enhance the system and make it go a little faster by skipping some of the animations and going to the next. And it, so yeah, you can't do that anymore. This is a weird one. Ogre death animations now play all the way through.
Ogre death animations now play all the way through. Oh, I'm sure those ogres are happy about that.
I guess I never paid attention when an ogre died. It's like, oh, look, he didn't animate properly when he died. Well, now, see, I know that the animator that probably was bugging him since day one that they didn't play all the way through. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to fix those ogres. I'm going to show them. Cleave, Great Cleave, Supreme Cleave, and Whirlwind attack can now double strike. And other cleave-like skills now double strike as well. Blah, blah, blah. Dual crossbow combat style from the Inquisitive tree now only uses 50% of your double shot. Wah, wah. You overpowered Inquisitives. I mean, what? Who? Where? And then they go over the Alchemist trees. Once again, I'm scrolling, still scrolling through this. So yeah, look at the patch notes. Carve out about 20 minutes. Grab yourself a hot tea, comfy chair.
More than 20 minutes.
Yeah, it would probably take a while to go through these. This is feet talk. We're going to skip through this. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Another big thing that people are less than impressed with. The airship cargo hold stat buff and resistant amenities are no longer sold. Convenience amenities remain available. So no more having those ultimate resist at level 1 when you reincarnate.
Yeah.
Now
and
you're
in fact, there was a thread on the forums where the devs were saying it pretty much made it impossible to balance content because you have one group of people who had ridiculous resistances who could walk through traps like they weren't there, and another group that would be insta-killed if they walked through the same trap.
Yeah, I'm gonna tread lightly here. Trying to think how I want to word this to tread lightly.
Yeah.
I understand this change is a big change. It's not a popular change, but I think it's a needed change because that, as you said, made it really hard to balance the game, and it made. I mean, trust me, on a couple different servers I play on with guild ships that had these buffs, they were great because I didn't have to worry about stuff. I could just get that buff, and then I'm like, that fire trap's not going to do anything to me, or that fire, I can run through lava and not even think about it because I have this uber buff from my guild ship. Okay, I get it. And I get people are less than happy as well, too. Like I said in the episode we did on all the combat changes, everybody relax, deep breath. We'll get through this. It'll be fine. We'll just amend our playstyle and we'll move on. Gumsgang is saying Flimsy Firewood had a funny response in that post, and there are some good forum responses supporting the change as well. So I'll have to go and I haven't looked at that thread lately, so I'll have to go in and see. But as I said, I get it. Change is never a fun thing, but sometimes change / nerfs are needed. Like I said, our game is still here. Our game is still great. We're fine. We'll get through this. Just learn to cast resist on yourself. Sure, they're not as powerful as the guild ship ones, but we'll be fine.
That shows you how OP they were.
Oh yeah, they were. I mean,
they were more powerful than that.
I'll be 100
in the first place.
I'll be 100% honest. I didn't really think about those guild ship buffs much until I was playing on the hardcore server.
I think that's what brought it to the attention. Some people are blaming the hardcore servers when it completely, but I think it's what brought the situation to the attention of the devs, and they saw it was a lot more pervasive than the hardcore server.
I mean, let's be honest. I know they're saying they're not tailoring the game around the hardcore server, but this is one change that I can almost guarantee you definitely came about because of the hardcore server. Because when I started a level 1 character on the hardcore server and I went on that guild ship and I got that buffs, and when I didn't have to worry about any of the traps, any of those things, because I had all those resistance buffs at level 1 and 2, okay, yeah, I realized, wow, these are way more cooler than I thought they were. So then again, it's needed. We'll get through it, as I said. The Rough Docent now has an enhancement bonus of +2. The Rat Catcher now has a critical profile of 1820 times 3, down from 1720 times 3. Items with new Ghost Bane effects now deal their Bane damage to all undead, not just incorporeal enemies. The Boarding Pass to Sharn now uses the same indication time that other teleport items use, such as the Bottle of Mist and the Stormreach D12. That was another one that I think pretty much came about because of the hardcore league as well.
Wait, Stormreach D12?
Yeah, that was part of the 12th anniversary. There was a D12 that they gave everybody, and then if you rolled it, you could automatically port to Stormreach.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, because I wasn't. Yeah, because I don't remember that thing. So.
Yeah, it was the 12th anniversary gift. So yeah, it's just a fast teleport to Stormreach, just like the Bottle of Mist takes you to Strasco.
Oh, what'd you have to do to get it then?
Just that I can't remember. I think everybody got one.
No, because I don't remember it.
I don't. I can't.
I certainly was around during the 12th anniversary.
Yeah, I don't remember. I have one. So whatever you had to do to get one, I did it, but I don't remember what it was.
It sounds like one of those things that Cordovan might have been throwing around whenever you got to him at a particular time, and that I was just never around it.
I don't know.
I had no. Yeah.
I would have to look it up. I can't remember. Okay. That was a long time ago. Legendary Green Steel and Ravenloft throwing daggers now properly strike enemies, while improved precise shot is active. Items that teleport you to specific places have their cooldowns significantly reduced. The base hardness of Heroic Green Steel has been doubled. Let's see. Just kind of looking to see if there's anything else. The Cerulean Hills Wilderness area has been polished and made over. I didn't look at that on beta, so I am excited to see what they did with that. Of course, with that, there is a new public area in the harbor and the Cerulean Hills called the Gatekeeper's Grove. Currently, only one gatekeeper is in there admiring their accomplishments. Soon, others will likely move there as well. So I will have to check that out. That's we speculated that when we talked about the Lemania patch notes. I speculated that they're going to move all of the gatekeepers to there instead of they're currently in the Hall of Heroes. I'm thinking all the gatekeepers are going to move out there. And that's where you're going to go to get to like Temple of Elemental and Keep on the Borderlands, Slavers, all that stuff. My speculation, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to use that for.
At the very least, Keep to the Borderlands.
Yeah. Some harbor NPCs have had their animations adjusted. Okay. Some typos in the Haunted Halls of Evening Star have been fixed. Public space near the catacombs in Half Caneth in the marketplace has been adjusted slightly. Mounts are now suppressed. This is a big one too. Instead of dispelled when in a tavern. So what happens now is if you are on a mount and you go into a tavern, you're not going to be on a mount when you're in the tavern, but technically you still are on the mount. You just can't see the mount. And then when you leave, you're back on your mount automatically. So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Instead of just kicking you off, you just Linabelle is the one that actually did this, and she put a video up of this, and it's pretty sweet how it works because you really, as soon as you hit the door to go to the tavern, you're just walking like you were never on a horse, and then when you leave, you're back on your horse. So it's kind of cool. They're just like suppressing the horse.
I guess because I'm so used to in Lotro dismounting before I go into a building or anything like that, that I never thought that anyone would want to be.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that I just figured they would do it like they did in Lotro, and you would just automatically get kicked off. But you're technically still on your horse. You just don't know it. The ASMR's Healing Hands is now capped at 20 character levels. ASMRs with Stone Skin active no longer have their face displaying incorrectly. Always good to have your face displaying, right?
Yeah.
So the shared bank, that's another big thing. There's a new sorting drop-down panel in the shared account bank that is going to allow items in the account bank to be sorted based on a couple of different ways. You can do it by most recently added. The oldest first, items names A to Z are Z to A. Min level 1 to 30 are 30 to 1. And there is a new text field in the shared account bank, so you can filter lots of things as well. You can do by all. You can do just by weapons, by shields, rune arms, armor, eyes, heads, neck, trinket, cloak, etc., etc. So that's kind of cool. At least you can sort through your shared bank a little quicker. If you're looking for just that one thing and you have a ton of space in your shared bank, you can find it quickly. Of course, with an update, does creep up some known issues.
Oh, always.
Always. Some Alchemist enhancement trees icons are incorrect. Favorite soul, Divine Might, cannot be trained. The half-elf Alchemist Dilettante is not currently available.
What?
Alchemist
Delta. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a new class, so they don't have a dilettante for it yet.
Yep.
Okay.
Coming soon, trademark. The 64-bit beta client does not have a proper taskbar icon. Okay. Barbarian Angry Arms, Mad Mutations, and Focus Wide provide strike-through values lower than they described. Barbarian Occult Slayer Seeker Strike is not hitting the targets while wielding a Great Sword or Great Axe. Maul, Great Maul, and Shred for Druids in bear form is not applying strike-through correctly. And the new shared account bank search feature is not indexing items placed into the bank prior to the update. there's a workaround for this if you want to fix that, and that is drag all of your items out of your shared bank and then put them back in, which is okay. Unless you have like 300 items in your shared bank, and then you're going to be dragging all that crap out forever. So if it bothers you that much, that's the workaround. If not, just wait. They're going to fix that in hotfix. I don't have that much of a shared bank.
I can't imagine because my shared bank is pretty small.
I mean, I forgot how many. I probably have a quarter of my shared bank still open for space, and I have several tabs. I bought some tabs too, so. But I know some people that have a lot, and yeah, they don't want to drag all that stuff out. So there you go. That is a quick rundown of Update 45 release notes. As I said, go over into the show notes, click on the link for that release notes. There's some pretty long release notes. A lot of it is about the Alchemist, so if you'd like some good information about the Alchemist, you can see all of the fun stuff there. But I'm just excited to check out the Alchemist.
Apparently there's an NPC that's temporarily been removed from the catacombs.
There is. Cordovan posted over on the forums today that Thaddeus Greylight from the Catacombs quest is temporarily unavailable. These quests can still be completed, though, although some optional objectives cannot. They are working to correct the issue soon. Didn't say exactly what the issue was, why it wasn't working, but just be aware that some of the optionals in the catacombs currently cannot be completed because he is missing.
All right. Then let's head into the SSG community meetup with the Adventure Pub on Friday, February 28th, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. I presume that's for PAX East.
It is. If you find yourself in Boston for PAX East, you can hang out with Standing Stone Games. Most of them will be there because it's right in their back door.
Yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, this time it's in the burbs, though, rather than in...
Yes, and I was just about to bring that up. This is a little different. Usually they had it really close to the convention center, but this time it is outside of the Adventure Center. It's actually in Arlington, Massachusetts. I'm not sure how far away from Boston that is. But apparently it's not really far, but it's definitely more than a walk. Yeah. You have to actually take public transportation or you got to drive to get to there.
I think the entire point is that it's very hard to get reservations for the number of people that want to come near the convention center for obvious reasons.
Yes, they ran into that at Gen Con last year, but they lucked out and found a place that could hold. But yes, so... Again, this is a free event, though, so if you find yourself in the Boston area, or you're close enough to Boston to where you can just drive, they do require a RSVP for this event, but it is being held at a pub called the Adventure Pub, which sounds like a pretty sweet place. It is a tabletop-focused gastropub. So make sure to bring any games you picked up at PAX East or elsewhere, and you want to play them with a group of friends because they have plenty of room to play some tabletop games or tabletop RPGs. That's very encouraged there because the whole pub is built around gameplay. All right. I wish I was closer to Boston. I would love just to check this bar out because it sounds amazing.
Yes. Now... Cordovan had the impression that they'll probably lose some people that live in central Boston in going to this event because they don't want to bother going out to the burbs, while there's some people who in the past probably never went because they thought it was too much trouble going into Boston.
That's right.
So he's expecting it to balance out, but you don't know until...
Yeah, I guess we'll see how this goes. And Gums is saying he's going to miss PAX East this year. See, Gums, you could have told me how cool this Adventure Pub was. I was counting on you, Gums, and look at you. Look at you, Gums.
You were counting.
Oh, but yeah, members of the DDO and Lotro team as well will be there, along with our executive producer. He'll be there, of course, and Cordovan. And there's going to be some swag and new swag, too.
New swag?
I'm interested to see what this new swag is Cordovan speaks of. So yes, there's going to be a time for personal and general Q&A, free food, fun and games, and even a few secrets, maybe.
Secrets?
So I can't wait to see what the secrets are. So hopefully there'll be some people that will tweet about what the secrets that were spilled at the PAX meetup. There is an RSVP. They would like you to RSVP by Wednesday, February the 19th, just so they can get a head count. But for anybody, as I said, if you're close to Boston, if it's a decent enough drive for you to get there, check out the PAX SSG community meetup at the Adventure Pub.
All right, then. Let's then head into... There's no Chronicle?
There is, but since we're recording this episode on Thursday, the new Chronicle comes out tomorrow when this episode drops. So there's no point in talking about the Chronicle because it is going to be a week behind. It's kind of the weird thing that since we waited to do this episode Thursday night due to just because I knew the patch was going to come out, so we'd have that to talk about. So instead of doing the show Monday, we did it Thursday. We kind of missed the Chronicle, but that's all right. We'll talk about the new Chronicle on Monday, so it'll be fine.
I guess you've got a point there, but there are the store sales, though, because we've got 20% off of Astral Shards and Guild Renowned Elixirs. These are the new store sales. And 50% off of Guild Charters and Guild Airship Beacons now through February 20th.
Well, there you go. See, so go get that Guild Ship Air Beacon. Yeah. Which I know somebody, Rent, I'm looking at you, that use those all the time. When at first I thought, those are dumb. I would never want to use those. But they're pretty freaking awesome that you can just get to your guild ship from anywhere you want. Yeah, Rent is constantly using those things, which is amazing. I like it. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, but since I would think that one of the reasons people would have often been going to the guild ships would be get those awesome buffs that have been removed.
Well, yeah, but there's still going to be other buffs available. I mean, it's not like, you know, so, I mean, and there'll still be other reasons to go to your guild ship, but sure, not as useful as they once were.
That's why they're on sale now.
Ouch. Ooh, that's cold, Pineleaf.
Oh, well, I was just emulating the weather.
Nice.
Let's go to find out what's coming in from the dungeon. Where Hasbro Earnings show that D&D has been strong since, well, it's strong once again. Why, did it start the weekend or something?
A little bit, yes. The last year, the sales were down slightly. I mean, not enough to like worry about. I mean, it was still an amazing year for them. But this year was even better. The TLDR version of this, if you want to read the full notes for this conference call, be my guest. I kind of skimmed through it, and my head was hurting after a while because it was a lot of like business speak, of course, because this was a call to all the investors to say how good their games were doing and how much money they were making. So I bullet pointed all of the good information for you, and the information that was relevant to our little neck of the Hasbro woods, as it were. D&D grew again, 6th year in a row that sales are up. Like I said, they were up last year, but they weren't up as much as this year. So that's why I said sales are strong again. Then again, nobody's worried about D&D sales. They're amazing. They had said before 5th edition is so far the best-selling edition they've ever had. Which I find that hard to believe. Out of all the editions, I mean, 5th edition is good, but I would seem to think 3rd would have sold better. But no, 5th edition.
Yeah, I would have thought, because 3rd was such a major turning point in how D&D operated.
But no, actually, 5th edition is the best-selling D&D edition so far. 6th year in a row, sales are up. Streaming of D&D content is nearly up 50% from last year. So there's way more people streaming D&D on Twitch and other various places. There is substantial new digital gaming plans in the works for D&D. They are going to be revealed February the 21st during Hasbro's Analyst Day. So there is, take that, that's all they said about it. So you can take that for what you want. But let me repeat that. Substantial new digital gaming plans for D&D. Mm-hmm. So I would take that to mean there's more than just one new D&D game coming out.
Yeah, that would sound like it.
So that's going to be interesting. So yeah, February 21st, we're going to find out more about that. Total games category from Hasbro grew by 6%. That was fueled by D&D and Magic the Gathering. Also, believe it or not, Monopoly is declining.
Oh, what a shock. So
I know.
Is that why they're coming out with a Goonies version?
Sure. Why not? Yeah. I guess.
Well,
okay. Well, you go ahead and say what you're going to say, and then I'm going to say what I'm going to say because I'm sure I'm going to get some hate about what I'm just about to say. But go ahead and say.
I was going to say this: that considering how on Board Game Geek that Monopoly has a, in my opinion, deserved very poor position in the rankings.
My problem with Monopoly is the simple fact they'll slap any crap title on Monopoly.
Well, yeah, there is that.
It's like, oh, hey, let's make a X Monopoly. Sure, why not? Let's find the most obscure piece of pop culture we can find, and let's make a Monopoly version out of it. If you have an idea for a Monopoly version, contact the op. I guarantee you they'll make a freaking Monopoly out of your idea. Because as it stands now, you can get Monopoly for anything. And I can honestly say I haven't played Monopoly in years. Not that I'm bashing Monopoly. I mean, I know some people in the hobby board game industry are just like, oh, you can't play Monopoly. That's a kid's game. Blah, 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 blah. But admit it, we all played Monopoly as kids. There's not one person out there that can't say, well, I suppose there might be a couple people that have never played Monopoly.
There might be a couple in some.
But very few people have never played Monopoly. So anyway, the basic takeaway is D&D is up. We're going to get a bunch of announcements on February 21st about D&D digital gaming. They got substantial plans, so stay tuned. I will post up over on DDO Players once we have all of that good information and find out what's new coming in the digital front. But Hasbro sitting pretty good with earnings thanks to D&D and Magic the Gathering.
Then let's head into our week in gaming. What were you up to?
I actually did quite a bit this week, believe it or not. For me, especially, yeah. I played over on Wayfinder. That, of course, is with Rent, Tay, and Alessa. We ran some of the Mist of Ravenloft. We ran into the Mist because... Let me see if you can guess the reason why we ran into the Mist.
It has something to do with a weapon.
Yes, but who was that for? Whose idea was it?
Whose idea was getting that weapon?
Mm-hmm. Who needed it? Out of Rent, Tay, Alessa, and myself, who needed their gem for their weapon?
Well, seeing that gem for their weapon, I'm not familiar with the gems for the weapon. Then I guess I just familiar with the weapon.
Oh, that's right. You don't run. Yeah, I forgot. That reminds me. You don't have a sentient weapon at all, do you? Because you don't have an epic character, do you?
I just have a level 20.
Do you have a sentient weapon that has the gem and everything?
Let's see. Did I Remember, I had a lot of trouble running just Keep of the Borderlands.
Okay, then you don't have one. Okay,
Yeah, it's possible
we
I ran one quest and but I can't remember if I got an ingot to drop in order to make one.
we will rectify this. You can just stand at the entrance, and I'll do the quest for you, and then you can get your gem, and then you can actually have the sentient weapon. But no, it was Alessa's idea because Alessa, of course, Alessa, God love her. When she comes on, we have plans to do stuff, and then she's like, "Hey, I need this, so let's go do this." That's what we do. It's Alessa. What are you gonna do? So yeah, we ran Into the Mist so she could get that, and then we did Oath of Vengeance several times. We ran that like 4 times, 5 times. Of course, on Epic. We were running that because there was, and I can't remember exactly what it is. There's something out of there that drops that Tay needed. So we ran that 4 or 5 times, and then that finally dropped. So then after we got that done, we decided we were going to go out and do some feather farming to try to get enough feathers to get horses, which we did not get enough to get horses. But I have, I think, 8 feathers now. So we'll do that again.
Now, feather farming, that's killing rares in Borderlands, or
yes, there's a specific way to do it that's very easy that I will tell you about, and we will do it if you would like. Well, I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about right now, but
everybody except me knows what you're talking about.
Probably is.
Well,
I will explain to you the best way to do it.
I guess because I bought a horse rather early on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You really don't need a horse because you bought that whatever thing that had the horse in it. So yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, I will explain to you how it works, though. But we'll do that later, though. And then over on Arganescence, playing my Wolflock, who is level 24 now. That is with Saba. We did the Darkening quest line. It's out in King's Forest. We did Impossible Demands, the Unquiet Graves, the Lost Thread, and the Battle for Evening Star. Ran all that. That was super fun. We're doing everything on Epic Hard. And then we started to do some of the Underdark stuff, which includes, we started the City of Portals quest line. We did the House of the Rusted Blades and the House of Broken Chains. As I said, running all that on Epic Hard. So level 23 over on Wayfinder and 24 on Argo. So much closer to my level 28/30 gold. So we'll see. We'll see. Can I make it before the end of the year? Can I actually get one of my resolutions done? According to everybody, Saba Jade and Tay and Alessa and Rend, yes, I will do that. We will get there. And apparently I'm going to do it twice. Not just once, but twice.
You need to do it twice to make up for the years where you failed.
There you go. I like that. That's how we'll do it. And then I played some tabletop. Played Thanos Rising. That is a game from the now it's the Op. Actually, when this game came out, it was actually still
USAopoly.
Yeah, USAopoly. Thank you. I drew a blank on their name because I'm so used to calling them the Op now. But technically, it's the Op. That is a game where you're battling Thanos. Of course, you're trying to stop Thanos from getting all of the gems for the Infinity Gauntlet. So it's marble based. Really fun game. It's kind of a engine building type game because you have like a ring that you're going around, and then on your turn you can try to get other heroes into your team. And as you do that, your team gets better, and then the more your team is better, the more you can do, so you build your engine. When you first start out, you can usually do like 1 or 2 actions, but as you recruit heroes, you can get up to where you can do 5 or 6 things around, and then all while Thanos is throwing villains at you and he's damaging you. And really fun game. Really enjoyed that. And then played Horrified. My friend and his son were over, and his son had never played Horrified, and I'm like, ooh, we're going to rectify that right now. Because as we all know, I do love me some Horrified. We played with the Invisible Man and the Wolf Man. Is who we did. We just did 2 monsters since it was his first playthrough. The game started out not so good for us. I was kind of worried at first, but then we picked it up and we managed to squeak it out. We had about 4 cards left and we were at, I think, 6 on our terror tracker. So wasn't too bad. We did manage to win. Horrified. If you have not played Horrified, do yourself a favor. Buy it. Play it. I love Horror. I cannot say how much Horrified is an amazing, amazing game. I've talked about it plenty of times, so enough on that. Then finally, the last thing I did was some Dungeons & Dragons 5e. Played in the Waterdeep Dragon Heist. We're on episode 20. Title of this episode is The Claw Paradox. If you watch the episode, you'll know why it's called that. Here's the teaser for the episode. The Waterdeep dwarves and friends have their final confrontation in Xanthar's lair. And the death of a character. Hashtag Waterdeep Dwarves. Hashtag -1 drow.
Then that implies that your character is not the one that got killed. Right. Oh, no, you are the drow. Never mind.
I am the drow.
Oh, yeah.
I am killed? Question mark. Evil Beaker, that crafty dungeon master he is, really threw us a curveball.
Aha! He did a drag?
Yeah. I died? Question mark. Maybe. Possibly. I don't want to spoil it too much. Go watch the episode. Amazing what Beaker did. And none of us knew he was going to do it, even me. I didn't know he was going to do it. The moment he did it, he sent me a private message and he just said, go with this. It's going to be epic. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
So I went with it. Like I said, I had no idea. None of this was... It's just... Watch it. It's amazing. I have a link in the show notes for the episode. Just watch it. Watch the end. The epic cliffhanger that we're on, where I'm sorta dead.
It's only
ish.
mostly dead.
I'm mostly dead. Ish. We'll see. But yeah, Beaker, hats off to you, buddy. I was shocked and amazed, and it was so much fun to play in this game and have this thrown at me when I did not know it was coming. So yes, hashtag Waterdeep Dwarves, hashtag -1 drow. What will happen in episode 21? Will they be able to bring me back? We'll find out. So we're going to play that game in just a couple of weeks, actually. So I can't wait to see what happens, because I don't know. How about you, Pine Leaf? What were you up to?
All right. Yes. Now's my little turn on there, and we'll begin with the DDO, where my SMR Paladin completed all of the Keep of the Borderlands quests at level. As I said, I was going to do. I did not level up to level 2 until I was ready for the last quest, which is the level 2 quest. So I did. So I sat on all this XP that said, you. I think very early on, I got to the stage where it says, you're eligible for level 2. And of course, didn't actually level up until I managed to finish all those first 7 quests. I finished all this, then I did the final one. And I did this at the opposite of what happened with my Barbarian, where my Barbarian, I did the first quest in there. It says, no impossible without a cleric. So I immediately got a hireling on that one. On the Aasimar, I never needed to use a hireling.
Well, you do have some self-healing, though.
I have some self-healing. Well, yes, as a Paladin and as an Aasimar, I do have some advantages on that score. The Barbarian Shrine did almost nothing to heal a Barbarian, but Aasimar Paladin, boom!
Night and day, huh?
Oh, yeah, I could be almost dead, and that thing just, boom, there goes your health all the way back up to full. It's like, much better on that score. Then yesterday I created an Alchemist, but I haven't had a chance to actually play it yet. I'm going to try to do a short series with it, and this is going to be a series seeing how well I can play the Alchemist, but it's also going to be a series on. It's also going to count as my Keep of the Borderlands because this is going to be my human alchemist. So it's going to count as my human and as my alchemist for
Oh,
that.
okay.
So I am going to follow the usual rules. Is I can't use a hireling until I say this is impossible, and I also can't level up to 2 until I'm ready for the final dungeon. So I will still have those rules in place also. So we'll see how I do on an alchemist on there. A class that obviously, since it was just released, I've never played before. Now on tabletop, we're finishing off the alphabet kanzi for on the solo con thing, and there I played Pentaquark, Cristallo, 4 Against Darkness, and when I was doing the 4 Against Darkness, I think I must have set a record. Well, I know it's not literally a record on it, but it was a tiny dungeon. Literally, this dungeon had 7 rooms.
Wow, that is a tiny dungeon.
Yes, 7 rooms. So that it's very hard to get a much smaller one than that, I have a feeling. But I'm sure someone's managed it one time or the other. But yeah, very small dungeon. And then I played Twin Stars, a scenario called Sell the Junk, and I demonstrated that I'm not very good at selling junk, apparently. Then The Abandons, then Bowling Solitaire, or on Bowling Solitaire, at the end of the 8th frame, I was doing really well, and it looked like all I had to do was have a halfway decent finish, and I could break my record for my best run I ever had, and of course, 2 open frames. Nope, I couldn't get a spare in there anywhere.
Oh, geez.
There were really, really bad deals on both of those two. I'm sure a real expert might have been able to figure out some way of getting a spare on one of those two, but I couldn't. So yeah, I missed my record by 2. Then Nautilian, where in contrast to my previous run on there, I had a comfortable win there, mainly because I kept on rolling low. And low rolls are good in Nautilian because you first of all you have this obstacle called the Dark House, and the Dark House, if you give it a 3 or 4, then you have to give up one of your tokens, one of your token area tokens that you have. So you could either have to use your ones that you use for spell casting, which are ones you're most likely want to use, or you would have to give up one of your members of your crew, which is the worst thing you could do. Giving up crew is very bad in that game.
Okay.
Because the object is to reach the opposing island with a full crew. So,
Oh,
you
okay.
don't want to go around giving up crew. That means because you have to recruit somebody else to fill that spot before you get to the end. So I did manage a good win there. I filled up my crew with 2 turns left, and I was a little bit in the lead at the time. And of course, when I when I had a 4 right at the end there, I said, okay, I could give that 4 to me because I don't care if I have a high number now, because you don't want to give yourself too many high numbers, because if you do, won't have you'll reach the island too early and you won't have a full crew and you'll lose. But you don't want to give your opponent high numbers, because if you give your opponent high numbers, then they might reach their destination before you do, in which case you'll lose. And of course, you lose your spell chits if you go around giving them to the Dark House. So yeah, if you roll a lot of low numbers, then things are a lot better for. Now, in this case, I should note that the dice have 2 1s on them, 2 2s on them, and a 3 and a 4. So the odds are such that you're less likely to roll high numbers because you've got those extra 1s and 2s in there. But I've had plenty of games there where I felt like I was constantly rolling threes, and you're rolling 3 dice every turn, so probably going to get one high number in there on each turn. But I have some games, of course, where I rolled a few extras and some where I didn't try to make. This one was a very good one where I really rolled low. Then in Storm Realms Frontiers, I played the scenario Madness of the Machine, one of the solitaire scenarios, and I am doing my first run through each of the solo challenges. Thus, I'm playing it on easy right now. I guess it's not that surprising that I managed to pull off a win on that one. And then Tiny Epic Galaxies, where I decided to run on the against the Medium Rogue Galaxy. I'm not too sure I've ever played against the Medium Rogue because the Medium Rogue Galaxy is on the backside of the green player mat, and I like using the green player mat, so I wind up not playing against the Medium Galaxy. But I felt like I've played against the beginner and the easy one too many times that those were now getting too easy. And I went in there and I managed to pull out a win in there. Mainly, I was concentrating on getting big, big planets. Planets I was colonizing were the ones that had very high numbers, like 5 or 7 victory points, which helped a great deal in there. The trouble with doing that is that it's very easy for the rogue galaxy to go and steal them from you. So I was very lucky in being able to get them and hold on to them without any trouble because once you're the one who finishes your colonization procedure, they can't steal them. But while you're doing it, if they land on there and manage to finish everything first, then they could wind up getting it. Now, the big challenge I had in this run is that very few of the colonies were giving culture. As a result, I had a little culture early on in the game, but I had none in the later parts of the game, so it was impossible for me to follow the rogue galaxy because one of the things you could do is the rogue galaxy rolls a die and they're able to take an action on it, then I'm allowed to follow and also do that action, which can be very, very useful. But without culture, I can't do that. So that was my biggest problem there. Fortunately, it didn't bite me all that much, and I managed to push up and finish out the game. Now, in Eon's End, I played Mist against Bladius. Now, Bladius is a very, very fast opponent. They dish out a lot of damage, but don't take all that much. So you've got to be careful on how you go against Bladius, because if you don't get out the gate quickly, you get chopped into pieces. That's what happened in my first attempt. Now, one of the things I found out during this one is that there was a card that was particularly brutal, where if you didn't have 2 charges at that point, you'd be really torn to pieces. So I made sure the next time I played for my second attempt with Mist, I made sure that I had 2 charges early on so that when that card came up, I was able to take the less deadly option. The less deadly option is to give up 2 charges. But if you can't lose 2 charges, then you have to take the more deadly option. The more deadly option was, oh yes, you take 4 damage and then you take 3 more damage. But so I managed to survive it on the second attempt because I did that little tactic there, and I won on that time. I got exhausted, but I managed to go Bladius and win that one. Then I decided to try with my legacy character and tried the same thing. And I got exhausted again, and I killed Bladius again. So each of them is 1 for 1 on that particular standing in there. And that's for an Eon's End challenge, an annual Eon's End challenge that they have, where they tell you what you're fighting against. This year they're using Eon's End Legacy for the for the items. And that's what I did.
Again, I've stated this many a time. Where do you find the time for all this stuff? Good Lord, man.
Oh, well. We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page. We can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. And we did not receive any emails this week, but if you would like to send us one, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Dracula at Dracula_72, and Pine at Pine Needles. You can follow Drac on Twitch at Dracula_72. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, except when it's on another day. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have Locha Players News. Use for our shows on ddoplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pine Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.